Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid South Wrestling Review Series for the 13th of April to 1985, not 2005. That'd be awesome if the territories lasted that long. Anyway, as mentioned, we go episodically through things. Please join us on our other channel, Golden Opportunities Coaching. If you need relationship, business, or entertainment level coaching, that's the place to get that. Hopefully, 2021 is going to be a big year for everybody in a positive way. 2020 was a bit of a throwaway year for lots of folks, and hopefully we can rectify that in the 21. Anyway, so as we move forward, lots of good things happening here, I guess you could say. Um, the spring of '85 is certainly an interesting time to be a Mid South fan. Kind of seeing I guess you'd say the wonder that is Shawn Michaels, for lack of a better term, developing right before our eyes and other things. Edgar Boo Thomas versus Brickhouse Brown here. The Thomas seems to be kind of a collegiate style guy, a little bit, and that seems to kind of be running a bit of things going in a positive direction for him. We see him kind of continuing into a line with Dr. Death, Steve Williams, a little bit, and that the collegiate style that Williams brings, kind of a big deal. Brickhouse Brown doing the boombox, and then we kind of good fireman's carry takeover by Thomas. Thomas managing to get himself tied up a bit though. Brickhouse Brown no slouch on the mat, and they do kind of a wrestle around a little bit, tie up both men. Brown a little bit quicker using some arm drags, and we easily see that Brown is brings his opponent to the canvas, and we kind of see Brown with more aggression. Back off into the corner goes uh, Thomas. Thomas not really liking the situation, as it were. Kind of some hard shots there. Thomas takes Brown out of the corner, and Brown reverses, sends him into the opposite corner of the ring. Uh, Brown gets caught with a monkey flip blockage, and ultimately Williams up on the apron trying to create a distraction diversion. Brickhouse Brown manages a backdrop and then the shoulder tackle from the on the inside. 1, 2, 3, and a victory there, and Williams drops an elbow errantly on his own man. Dr. Death in his own match up next. Private Terry Daniels providing the competition for the moment. And obviously, we kind of see things going to go the way of Steve Williams here. Williams is obviously using power and a better overall wrestling tactic. Seems that he's kind of broken away from Ted DiBiase a little bit here, which is interesting. They didn't really do an angle for the breakaway. Steve Williams, I guess, now could be considered toward a babyface. Short knee by Williams. Williams makes his way around and kind of, although maybe not a babyface, kind of an independent heel or tweener at the moment. Anyway, tie up by Steve Williams. Williams manages to get some kicks to the back of the hamstring there. Irish whip, and then you see a hook up, including the arm bar. Meanwhile, Irish whip again by um, uh, Daniels. Daniels with a cross body, and he is actually hanging his own and holding his own with Steve Williams, which is a little surprising, actually. with the level at which Williams has been pushed over the last few years of his Mid-South run and stay. But maybe, you know, maybe they're trying to really get Terry Daniels over, but Williams catches him. Oklahoma Stampede running style 1-2-3 and victory there. Roberts and the Barbarian, Jake Roberts, that is, against the Rock and Roll Express. Interesting tag team match there. Roberts and the Barbarian, certainly a interesting tandem just from a visual standpoint. And the Rock and Roll Express, your tag team champions. Maybe they gave up a little bit or pulled back on the Dirty White Boys, or Dirty White Boys are less over than they imagined. I don't really know. What I do know for sure is that Jake Roberts is slinking back after a small interaction with the Rock and Roll Express. The Barbarian not happy with the difference in speed between himself and Ricky Morton. And we kind of see the Barbarian leaping around trying to do as much as he can. Again, Morton and the Barbarian, a pretty big deal. The press slam into the turnbuckle is also a big deal. Roberts with the takeover, and then we see a cutoff where the tag team champions work over the leg of Jake Roberts for a bit. Several minutes of that. Roberts, though, manages to get a almost guard slash head scissors on Ricky Morton. Tag back to Robert Gibson. Gibson comes in, continues to work over the leg and ankle of Jake Roberts. Roberts bails out in a hurry, tags to the Barbarian. Clotheslined by the Barbarian. Barbarian certainly has every power advantage imaginable. Big body slam by the Barbarian. Come back in does Jake Roberts. Roberts manages the Irish whip, kick to the midsection by Roberts, and ultimately tries to draw, and at least for a moment successfully does draw Ricky Morton into the ring with some distraction points. Then we see the Barbarian missing an elbow drop. That is not good for him, but it is good for Jake Roberts. Roberts manages once again to keep the ring cut off on Robert Gibson. Finally, Gibson does get over to his partner and make a tag. Double drop kick on Roberts. Roberts goes down in a hurry. Double drop kick on the Barbarian as well. And these guys are having some difficulty. Meanwhile, Morton gets caught in the ropes in a self-imposed choke sort of thing. We see some distractions and the choke out, and other people running into the ring along the way here to break up the damage done to Ricky Morton. And the Barbarian has, I believe it was Gibson in a full Nelson there for a little bit. Doesn't get what he wants on it. Gets enough though. Jack Victory and Steve Casey is up next. A match that is without a doubt very basic. Actually, the next several matches are basic because I think we, as mentioned, changed bookers. Steve Casey comes in and is pretty aggressive, assertive, not really known, been around a couple of weeks. Very basic match. Jack Victory is his adversary. Victory spends the majority of time on the canvas trying to fight out of, headlocks, arm locks, and the basic babyface wrestling stuff. Meanwhile, Jack Victory has become an even more poised star, just able to have a match with just about anyone at this time. A sharp shot to the midsection by Victory. Victory then gets caught with a drop kick. Doesn't exactly like that. Drop toe hold by Victory, and a win for Steve Casey after a surfboard submission. Eddie Gilbert and the Nightmare against Mr. Montana and Tim Horner. Montana new to the area as well. And General Eddie Gilbert is the person of note. He's kind of wearing Army, at least top fatigues, and Gilbert becomes major in this area over the next couple of years. Gilbert, of course, is second generation star. His father, Tommy Gilbert, and his brother Doug, both big in wrestling in the Memphis area. Takeovers by Gilbert. Gilbert, one of my favorite guys. Anyway, the Nightmare sends his man into the top turnbuckle. I believe that this Nightmare is Ted Allen. Uses a power slam and kind of a hanging power slam. Meanwhile, Gilbert comes back in and brawls pretty aggressively with his opponent. Several shots to the midsection there. Ultimately, Gilbert hits the running back elbow and manages to try to keep Horner down. Doesn't get all he wants on keeping the man down. The Nightmare comes back in and is pretty assertive, aggressive about using body slams and other things to keep his team in control. Regular tags by Gilbert and the benefit of his opponent there, and a roll through there and shot by his adversary. And again, we kind of see Gilbert, duck down over and around dropkick attempted by Horner, doesn't get what he wants. Horner manages to make the hot tag to Montana. Montana gets set up and landed with a pile driver for the victory for Gilbert and his new Nightmare partner. Kamala and Steve Bryson up next, and Kamala has been on a tear as of late, including but not limited to laying out Shawn Michaels several weeks ago. Skandor Akbar says this is a new Kamala. He's not the least bit worried about any challenge that comes. Akbar basically wants to take out Duggan, wants to take out anybody in Mid-South that gets in the way of his adversary or his man under his tutelage here. Kamala continues to be very simply motivated. Punch, kick, chop, chop, and again, away we go. Kamala becoming a little harder to handle, one might imagine, with the wonders of everything. Kamala, though, manages the back chops and the front chops, the big splashes, and Kamala needing another major meal, I guess you'd say. And then we go to the final match of the day. Dutch Mantell and Stony Montana. I'm assuming Dutch Mantell, Dirty Dutch, brought in as a booker because he has booking history. I could be wrong, though. Can't imagine who would bring him in at the time to this particular territory at this particular juncture. But shots by Dutch. Dutch with a very basic style, punch, kick, the Memphis style, but gets enough to get an advantage there. Leaping elbow drop by Dutch, and he manages to keep things going his way, cinches up on a front face lock, hits several times with the forearm, and then we see his opponent, Mr. Montana, get cinched up in the headlock, front face lock, and headlocks again. Really basic stuff, nothing to write home about. Snaps him over, and a deep, submission style maneuver. Then you see kind of the leaping clothesline by Mantell. Manages to get a victory off of a vertical suplex, kind of front falling, and Mantell gets the victory there. We'll be back with more of April of 1985 right after this.